welcome back to the channel. In today's video we are talking about 10 things you didn't know you could possibly freeze. Some of you, of course, you probably do this all the time, but I'm sure there are people there that might find one or two items on this list quite helpful. So I'm going to start with first, milk. I don't know if many of you thought you could freeze milk. I didn't think you could. I didn't possibly even think that why would you really want to freeze milk, to be fair. However, now the way the things are going, I don't see, if you have a space in the freezer, I don't see why you wouldn't, especially if you pick it up on the deal. Price of milk has gone up quite a lot, so I think if you've got the space in the freezer and if you'd be able to pick it up on the deal, I don't see why you wouldn't want to do this. Like this one was reduced to like 31 pence, which is really, really cheap. They had about a few of them, so I didn't freeze that for the video neither because I literally have no space, but the fact is I froze the milk before and it works absolutely fine, so this is one to your list. Number 2 is cheese. I'm sure hopefully many of you probably know that you could freeze that and it makes absolutely no difference to the texture of hard cheese. You can also freeze like a mozzarella cheese. It works really well, but you kind of have to cook with that. Whether the hard cheese, it's absolutely fine when it's defrosted. I normally buy a lot of cheeses on after the New Year's Day or sometimes after Christmas. You know, they sell those cheese boards and there's a lot of cheeses, little cheeses there. They're vacuum packed and they normally sell them off really, really cheaply. One year, it wasn't last year, but the year before, in Asda, I bought a cheese board on the little bamboo board, 50p, and I had like 5 cheeses. I'm like, it is out. So I got a few of those and I froze those cheeses and I've been using them for the past couple of years and it's absolutely fine. It's literally, you can add it onto mashed potato, add it onto the sauces, or you can just eat it as they are. Really, really good thing to be able to freeze, especially if you can find things on the deal. So there. And the cheese going up, by the way, in price. Yeah. Eggs. You can freeze eggs. This is one as an example. I don't need to freeze eggs because we've got chickens anyway, but you can freeze eggs. You can scramble them and freeze them. I just shoved it in the bag and it froze absolutely fine. I have tried them, they do work. You just defrost it and you cook it like a normal egg or add it to bacon and it works really, really well. So if you're lucky enough to pick up some eggs now and if you want to freeze them, you can. This is a pretty obvious one, guys, potatoes. You can freeze mash, you can freeze chips, you can cut your own, you can freeze your own. It's absolutely fine because you know they're still frozen potatoes, although some of them are blanched, they're pre-cooked. You can easily freeze potato. I've had my own little harvest of potatoes. I have mini potatoes, so they've been peeled and put back in the freezer and they're absolutely fine. Garlic. I love garlic, right? You can obviously preserve garlic in different ways as well, but freezing, it's kind of a good idea. And I'm not talking about freezing the whole garlic clove. I've basically minced my garlic with olive oil and put it in the tub. Don't follow my mistake here. It's like that. What I should have done is frozen it in the bag, like flat bag, and then washed it with a rolling pin to break it up in chunks, which I did the second time running. So, but basically that will sit in the freezer, or you have to just take a little chunk, put it in the cooking, and it's like the brilliant way. This pot here, there was a lot of garlic. I think Tesco's did some garlic on a deal, so I picked up a lot. Yes, it took forever to peel it. However, this pot is going to last me quite a little while. So there we are. Some of you know probably it's batters, lards, and substitutes, batter substitutes. All of that freezes really, really well. A little while back, again, I've bought from Booker's, I think, that did the batter, can't remember what it was, but 24 packs of them for £1. Like, they were clearing it off because the date was in a week's time. So I gave away a lot, and then I froze a lot. I've run out now, but nonetheless, it freezes so good. It's honestly, it's amazing how well that freezes. All you have to do, take it out, defrost it, ready to go. Okay? Bananas. I didn't genuinely, until a little while back, didn't really think you could freeze bananas. I thought they go all sort of horrible and mushy and dark, but to be fair, they don't, because they're already mushy when you get them, so it's kind of nothing lost there really anyway. But yeah, they freeze really well. You can add them onto smoothies. You probably wouldn't enjoy eating it fresh, but maybe with a bit of custard. So if you do have the space and you do want to freeze your bananas, then you absolutely can. Yogurts. Probably many of you know this if you have children, but you can freeze the yogurts. You can put a little plastic spoon in there or something. You can freeze this so you can use it as a lollipop. Not this shape, obviously, but yogurts freeze really, really well, especially as a cold snack. And we have herbs. This is an example I've got of dill. I froze some dill a while back. I didn't bother vacuum pack it because I know I'm going to be using that very soon with some fish. I've grew a lot of dill this year. I've dried a lot, and it just is a freezing herb. It works really, really well. But you can freeze any herb that you grow or you can purchase in a supermarket, provided it's fresh and not gone sort of manky. It freezes really, really well. And the last thing on my list, I don't have it, is somewhere in the bottom of my freezer, but it is spinach. Quite often, many shops sell off spinach like as a use by date because people just don't seem to buy it when it's starting to go a little bit wet. But yes, you can dehydrate spinach, but you can freeze it. I've been freezing spinach before, just shoving it in a freezer, in a bag as it is, and it's absolutely fine because by the time you put it on the hob and it boils down anyway, so it makes no difference to the quality of the spinach whatsoever. And then when I started basically running out of space in my freezer, I thought, well, why don't I blanch the spinach first, wilt it down, and then freeze it? And you can find in the supermarkets already frozen spinach in the frozen section, and it's frozen in little clumps. It's basically the same thing. It saves you so much space when you freeze your own. You blanch it, you put it in the bag like this, and like thinly, and then if you need a little bit, you just crack a little bit, take a bit off, and put this in your recipe, and you're ready to go. So here we are. I'm sure, guys, there are many other things you can freeze that I haven't mentioned here, but this is probably maybe the selection that not many people heard about. If you have, that's absolutely fine. Anyway, if you got other things that you want to suggest, please comment below, because we like to share in this community. Would like to share, obviously, the knowledge. Knowledge make the world go round. So here we are. Anyway, well, thank you for watching, guys, and I'll see you very, very soon. Bye bye.